In the heart of a quaint town, nestled amidst cobbled streets and historic buildings, there stood an old theater, its weathered facade a testament to its storied past. Legends whispered through generations, painting eerie tales of ghostly apparitions and mysterious occurrences that plagued the very heart of the stage. The theater, an enigma wrapped in darkness, had seen countless seasons and changes of ownership, but none could escape the chilling presence that seemed eternally bound within its aged walls. Throughout the years, brave souls who dared to tread its creaking boards shared harrowing stories of unsettling encounters that left their spines tingling with dread. With every rehearsal, the actors would speak in hushed voices about seeing shadowy figures darting in the corners of their vision, fleeting phantoms disappearing into the dim recesses of the theater. The crew members, responsible for the technical magic behind the scenes, complained of inexplicable cold spots that seemed to follow them, chilling them to their very core, and the uncanny sensation of being relentlessly watched by unseen eyes. One particular night, shrouded in an eerie mist that seemed to seep from the depths of the theater itself, a performance of Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, Macbeth, unfolded before the audience. As the lead actor passionately delivered his lines, his heart racing with the adrenaline of the moment, he suddenly froze, his eyes widening in disbelief. There, in the front row, amidst the living spectators, he saw a ghostly woman, her ethereal form dressed in a tattered ball gown, a haunting elegance to her presence that sent shivers down his spine. Her eyes, pools of sorrowful intensity, seemed to pierce through the fabric of reality and gaze straight into his soul. Stifling a gasp, he attempted to continue his lines, but his voice quivered with an otherworldly tremor. When the intermission finally arrived, he could not contain his curiosity and inquired about the mysterious woman's presence. To his bewilderment, no one else had seen her, and the seat she occupied was now eerily vacant, as if the ghostly apparition had vanished into thin air. Yet, despite the tales that swirled around the theater like ghostly mist, the allure of the stage remained irresistible. Performers and creatives alike, drawn to the haunting beauty and the palpable sense of history, continued to flock to the theater, driven by an inexplicable magnetism that transcended rationality. Little did they know that each new generation that dared to breathe life into the theater's timeless stories would also breathe life into the ancient spirits that slumbered, waiting to reawaken with every show. Amidst the legends of the theater's haunting, one figure cast a long, enigmatic shadow, Mr. Alexander Blackwood, the theater's director. Tall and imposing, with a mane of silver hair and piercing, haunting eyes, he exuded an aura of mystery that left all who encountered him in a state of unease. Some believed he had made a dark and sinister pact with the supernatural to secure his otherworldly talents, while others suspected he himself was possessed by the very spirits that roamed the theater's haunted halls. Yet, despite the chilling rumors that surrounded him, there was no denying Mr. Blackwood's uncanny ability to breathe life into even the most lifeless performances. The very essence of his being seemed to resonate with the spirits that dwelled within the theater, granting his productions an eerie authenticity that sent shivers down the spines of the audience. His rendition of classic plays possessed an otherworldly quality, as if the characters themselves had been conjured from the realms of the supernatural to walk the mortal stage. It was said that Mr. Blackwood's rehearsals were no ordinary affair. Under the pale glow of flickering candles, the cast and crew would be summoned to the dimly lit theater in the dead of night. The atmosphere would become palpably charged with an electricity that seemed to draw upon the very spirits that haunted the venue. As the clock struck midnight, they would begin their eerie performance, guided by Mr. Blackwood's steady hand and mysterious intuition. The lines flowed effortlessly, as if whispered from the lips of unseen specters, and the emotions portrayed by the actors were so raw and haunting that it left a lingering sense of unease even after the rehearsal had ended. While some members of the cast reveled in the thrill of the supernatural energy that seemed to fuel Mr. Blackwood's productions, others felt a gnawing fear at the edges of their minds. They spoke in hushed whispers of witnessing strange occurrences during these late-night rehearsals, eerie shadows flitting across the walls, the faint echo of ghostly laughter, and the sensation of icy fingers grazing the nape of their necks when they ventured into the darker corners of the theater. Yet, when questioned about these peculiar happenings, Mr. Blackwood would merely smile cryptically, his gaze lingering on the flickering candles as if they held the secrets of the universe. "There are things in this world, my dear," he would say, his voice a velvety whisper that sent chills down their spines, "that defy explanation, and it is unwise to delve too deeply into the mysteries that surround us. Embrace the unknown, for it is the essence of the theater's soul." Despite the chilling undercurrent of fear that Mr. Blackwood's presence brought, the allure of his productions and the sheer brilliance of his direction held a mesmerizing sway over the theater's inhabitants. Many were willing to endure the eerie ambience and spectral whispers for the chance to be a part of his enigmatic world, a realm where reality and the supernatural seemed to dance in an eternal waltz. The grand reopening of the old theater after its lengthy renovation was a momentous occasion that stirred excitement and trepidation in equal measure. The townspeople, curious to witness the spectacle after years of closure, eagerly queued outside the theater's ornate doors. As the clock struck the appointed hour, the doors creaked open, inviting the expectant audience into the theater's dimly lit interior. Inside, the air was thick with anticipation and a sense of history lingering in the very walls. The theater's opulent decor, lovingly restored to its former glory, added an air of sophistication to the event. The audience settled into their plush seats, their eyes eagerly scanning the stage, eager to be transported to a world of theatrical wonder. The performance began seamlessly, the actors gracing the stage with a passion that electrified the air. The audience was spellbound, drawn into the world of the play, their own realities fading away as they became immersed in the unfolding drama. The technical aspects of the production were flawless, the lighting creating a mesmerizing dance of shadows that enhanced the eerie atmosphere of the play. As the climax of the play approached, a sense of unease began to pervade the theater. A flickering of the lights caught the audience's attention, and some murmured in hushed tones, wondering if it was part of the show. Props seemed to move of their own accord, subtly shifting positions as if guided by invisible hands. The lead actress, portraying the tragic Lady Macbeth, delivered her monologue with a raw intensity that sent shivers through the audience. Yet, as she reached the pinnacle of her performance, her eyes widened in terror, and her voice trembled with an unspoken fear. She seemed to be staring at something beyond the footlights, a vision only she could see. A collective hush fell over the theater as the audience strained to see what had captured the lead actress's attention. To their astonishment, she pointed to the rafters, where a chilling sight met their eyes. An ethereal figure, swaying gently from a noose, dangled above the stage, bathed in an otherworldly light that seemed to emanate from within. The audience gasped in shock and disbelief, unsure if what they were witnessing was a part of the performance or a manifestation of the theater's haunted past. Panic spread like wildfire through the theater, the once enthralled audience now consumed by fear and confusion. Some attempted to flee, stumbling over one another in their rush to escape the eerie spectacle. The cast and crew, too, were overcome by a mixture of horror and disbelief, their carefully crafted production now overshadowed by the supernatural drama unfolding before their very eyes. Mr. Alexander Blackwood, the enigmatic director, stood at the edge of the stage, his eyes locked on the ghostly figure above. There was a fleeting hint of sadness in his expression, as if he knew the haunted history of the theater was reasserting itself on this fateful night. In the end, the apparition vanished as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving the audience in a state of stunned silence. The rest of the performance was abandoned, and the theater's lights were extinguished for the night. The once celebratory atmosphere had turned somber, the haunted legacy of the theater casting a shadow on the grand reopening. Despite the chaos and terror of that opening night, the allure of the theater's mystique remained intact, drawing even more curious souls to the now infamous venue. The townspeople, unable to resist the tantalizing blend of theatrical brilliance and supernatural intrigue, wondered if they would bear witness to more haunting apparitions during future performances. Little did they know that the true unraveling of the theater's mysteries had only just begun. In the aftermath of the disastrous opening night, the theater's cast and crew were left reeling, grappling with a mingling sense of fear and curiosity. Determined to understand the malevolent presence that had disrupted their performance, they set out on a quest to uncover the truth behind the theater's haunted history. Dusty archives and forgotten records became their companions as they delved into the depths of the past, seeking to shed light on the enigmatic darkness that clung to the theater's soul. As they sifted through brittle pages, faded ink, and centuries-old accounts, a tragic tale began to emerge. Decades ago, the theater had been graced by the presence of a young and radiant actress named Isabella Munro. Her performances were hailed as a beacon of brilliance, and her luminous stage presence captivated the hearts of all who witnessed her talent. Yet, behind the veil of success and admiration, jealousy brewed like a malevolent storm. Another actress, whose own star had dimmed in comparison to Isabella's radiance, could no longer bear the burden of her envy. Consumed by bitterness and a relentless hunger for fame, she hatched a sinister plot to sabotage Isabella's ascent to stardom. During a pivotal performance of Shakespeare's timeless tragedy, Romeo and Juliet, the night air was heavy with foreboding as the jealous actress tampered with the theater's rigging. The stage was set for a tragedy that would transcend the boundaries of the play itself. As Isabella delivered her lines with the grace and brilliance that had enchanted audiences time and again, the jealous actress's malevolent plot was set in motion. A gasp rippled through the audience as the unthinkable occurred. The rigging, manipulated by unseen hands, gave way, and Isabella's life was tragically snuffed out before the eyes of the shocked onlookers. The theater's stage, once a place of magic and wonder, became a haunting ground for a sinister act of jealousy. As the cast and crew continued their research, they stumbled upon accounts from that fateful night, the words written by witnesses and those who had walked the theater's haunted halls long ago. Each page seemed to resonate with an echo of the past, a somber reminder of the darkness that had taken root that night. Haunted by the weight of history and the realization of the spirits they had awakened, the cast and crew knew they had to put the vengeful souls to rest. Guided by their newfound understanding, they devised a plan to perform a solemn ritual, a rite of passage that would offer solace and closure to the tormented spirits. As the night of the ritual approached, the theater seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. Candles flickered with an otherworldly glow, and shadows danced along the walls like restless spirits. The cast and crew gathered on the stage, their hearts filled with trepidation, yet a resolute determination to confront the malevolent presence that had plagued them for so long. Under the pale light of the candles, they began the ritual, an incantation woven from the fragments of forgotten spells and ancient prayers. Each word carried the weight of their shared history, the collective desire to bring peace to the tormented souls. The air itself seemed to still, as if holding its breath in anticipation of the momentous act taking place on the sacred stage. In the midst of the ceremony, a faint whisper filled the air, like a gentle breeze that brushed against their cheeks. Then, as if a veil had been lifted, an ethereal light enveloped the theater. The spirits of Isabella and the vengeful actress appeared, their spectral forms touched by a radiant luminance that seemed to cleanse them of their earthly pain. With tearful eyes and hearts filled with a mixture of sorrow and relief, the cast and crew bid farewell to the spirits of the past. The restless souls, finally free from their lingering grievances, ascended towards the heavens like wisps of light, leaving behind an aura of tranquility that had eluded the theater for so long. From that night onwards, the theater transformed from a place of fear to one of wonder and fascination. The performances regained their former brilliance, infused with an otherworldly enchantment that seemed to echo the ethereal presence they had encountered. The legends of the haunted theater endured, but they no longer carried the weight of terror. Instead, they became tales of resilience and redemption, proving that even the darkest corners of existence could find light and salvation. As the years passed, the theater stood as a beacon of history and art, a place where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blurred, and where the timeless stories of the stage continued to echo through the ages. The terrors of theater had transformed into a tale of triumph over darkness, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, and the eternal allure of the enigmatic world of the theater. Armed with the knowledge of the theater's tragic history and the revelation of the jealous actress's malevolent act, the cast and crew felt a newfound sense of purpose and unity. They knew that they held the key to bringing peace to the tormented souls that had haunted the theater for far too long. With unwavering resolve, they set forth on a journey to perform the ritual that would lay the ghosts to rest and bring an end to the terrors of theater. In the days leading up to the solemn ceremony, the theater was a hive of activity. Rehearsals for the ritual were conducted with meticulous precision, every step and every word rehearsed to perfection. Each member of the cast and crew felt a profound responsibility resting on their shoulders, aware that they were not just performers but conduits of hope and redemption for the spectral entities that resided within the theater's haunted realm. As the night of the ritual approached, an air of reverence settled over the theater. The once feared and forbidding venue now felt like a sacred sanctuary, a place where the boundaries between the living and the deceased could be bridged. Candles were placed strategically around the stage, their soft glow illuminating the darkness and casting flickering shadows on the time-worn walls. The audience was not comprised of the usual theater-goers. Instead, a select group of trusted friends and family members joined the cast and crew, their presence ensuring that the ritual remained protected from those who might misunderstand its purpose. Together, they formed a circle on the stage, each person holding a candle that symbolized the light they hoped to bring to the darkness that had plagued the theater for far too long. Mr. Alexander Blackwood stood at the center of the circle, a beacon of calm amid the storm of emotions that swirled around him. His eyes reflected a profound wisdom, as if he were connected to the spirits on a level beyond the earthly realm. With a solemn and steady voice, he began the incantation, a fusion of ancient words and heartfelt prayers that resonated through the very foundations of the theater. As the incantation progressed, the atmosphere within the theater seemed to shift, as if the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead had grown thin. The candles flickered with an otherworldly intensity, and the temperature dropped, leaving a chill in the air that seemed to carry the essence of the spirits themselves. With each passing moment, the presence of the spectral entities became more palpable. Some members of the audience reported seeing faint apparitions moving within the flickering shadows, while others claimed to have felt the gentle brush of an unseen hand against their skin. Fear mingled with awe, and yet, no one among them wished to retreat from the ethereal encounter. Then, in a moment of profound clarity, the spirits of Isabella Munro and the jealous actress appeared before them. Their ethereal forms were luminous, glowing with an inner radiance that reflected the emotions they had held onto for so long. The audience gasped in collective wonder and empathy, realizing the depth of the tragedy that had played out within these very walls. Mr. Blackwood continued the incantation, his voice infused with compassion and understanding. He spoke directly to the spirits, acknowledging their pain and offering them forgiveness and redemption. He reminded them that they were no longer bound by the chains of the past, that they could find peace and release from the burdens that had tethered them to the earthly realm. Tears flowed freely as the spirits of Isabella and the jealous actress hesitated, their souls seemingly caught between the realms of the living and the dead. But with each word of compassion and forgiveness, their ethereal forms began to glow brighter, as if a weight had been lifted from their incorporeal shoulders. The ritual concluded with a final prayer, a collective plea for the spirits to find their way towards the light and leave behind the darkness that had ensnared them. As the last words echoed through the theater, the ethereal forms of Isabella and the jealous actress ascended towards the heavens, their luminescence growing until they disappeared into the ethereal expanse above. A hush fell over the theater, a stillness that spoke of the profound change that had just taken place. The terrors of theater had been vanquished, replaced by an overwhelming sense of peace and closure. The cast and crew embraced one another, their hearts full of gratitude for the role they had played in this extraordinary act of redemption. From that night onwards, the theater bore witness to a transformation unlike any other. The haunting presence that had once gripped the venue dissipated, replaced by an air of tranquility and serenity. The theater's performances continued, but with a newfound brilliance and enchantment that seemed to echo the ethereal encounter of that fateful night. The terrors of theater had transcended from a haunting tale of malevolence to a story of compassion, forgiveness, and the enduring power of human connection. The theater, now steeped in history and the echoes of its past, stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the ghosts that dwell among us. As the years passed, the tale of the haunted theater became a cherished legend, passed down through generations, a reminder that even in the darkest of places, redemption and closure could be found through the power of love and understanding.